You'll notice like once it starts going into TMNT 3 here, like the both Rocksteady and Bebop are starting to dress for the occasion.
Yeah. What occasion is this exactly? Hello, everybody. Welcome to a very radical episode of PlayStation Underground. You got Tim and Brett here, and we're checking out Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Cowabunga Collection. Super excited to be joined by Chris Kohler, editorial director at Digital Eclipse. Hey, Chris.
Hey, how's it going?
Really good. Happy to have you. And Charles Murakami, senior producer at Konami.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Guys, what are we checking out here today?
We are about to dive into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Cowabunga Collection, coming out later this year for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. It is a collection of 13 different Ninja Turtles games from Konami.
Awesome. And it looks like we are starting off with a boss battle here against Bebop, and it looks like we kind of have a collection of some highlights.
Exactly. We're going to go through many of the different Bebop and Rocksteady boss fights. We just saw the Ninja Turtles 1. Rocksteady's already gone. He took April. No.
Man.
Well, we got to catch up with Rocksteady because you fight them separately here. So in the Rocksteady fight here, he actually busts out his trusty machine gun, which we'll see quite a bit in this video. There's actually a way to do this without taking damage.
Oh, really?
If you're smart about it, that's right. I'm not gonna reveal it here, but perhaps if you play the Cowabunga Collection, you might find out how to do that. So here's Ninja Turtles, the original arcade game, the 4-player version, and Rocksteady is the boss of Act 1 here. As you can see, you bring 3 buddies in here, you're going to have a much easier time with this boss fight. In general, if you're doing it on your own, he can shoot that machine gun diagonally, so it kind of punishes you for jumping, so you might not want to do that so much.
This was an absolutely formative moment of my youth. Seeing that module come up and Rocksteady burst out.
It was like a cartoon.
Yeah. This kind of detail in an arcade beat 'em up at the time, like crowds, like legit crowds around the arcade machine.
And then here's Bebop with his the first appearance of his signature ripple gun, which maybe these four players are going to let him fire at some point.
Give him no quarter. I love that we're seeing the bosses, sort of standing on their own against the turtles.
There it is. Yeah. Yes, that's right. And speaking of no quarters required in the Cowabunga Collection. You can just continue all you want.
And now here they are together, which is incredible. It's like the build-up. It's so odd to see them apart, but then it creates this nice build-up and like crescendo to like, okay, here they are taking on the turtles together.
This was one of those great things from the arcade era where you could not do this on your home console. At this time, you could not have these 2 giant boss characters and 4 players all at once.
And I love that little note when they dash into each other and hit each other in the head. Just little character moments like that. So good.
Those two type of 2 boss interactions shows up later in the other arcade game that we'll see later as well.
Now we're seeing a different version of the earlier fight, right?
This is the 8-bit home console version of the Ninja Turtles arcade game. And again, here, like, to get this as a kid, like, I mean, look at this. It's like, does it look exactly like the arcade game? No. Is it close enough that you were blown away to have this in your house? Absolutely.
Yeah, I distinct memories of 4th grade, like getting up from my desk like I was in a movie, running out the door, knowing this game was going to be there when I got home. It was like an event.
Yep.
Can't wait to play it again.
I got tricked by the Electronic Gaming Monthly April Fool's code that said you could play as Simon Belmont in that game. But you know what? It's still good. You don't need Simon Belmont for it. It's fine.
The turtles can hold their own.
Yep, exactly. So here's the first portable Ninja Turtles game. You can see in this case, it's a side-scrolling game where it's sort of locked to that side-scrolling perspective. And you can actually, if you notice, you can knock the bullets away from Rocksteady in this fight. And you can even knock down Bebop's ripple laser in the next fight. So
I love the animation with his sunglasses popping off there for his spur frame.
Yeah, it becomes a lot more comical, right, as it goes on.
And actually, if you look at, you'll be able to look at some of the original design documents for this game and see the pencil sketch of that comical, funny reaction frame as well. So you check that out. You can compare the two.
Bye, Bebop.
This is back from the sewers. This is the second portable game.
I'm excited to play these portable games because these are ones I did not get a chance to play growing up.
He's dropping flower pots like this is some sort of a 1930s black and white cartoon or something like that. I'm not really sure where he thinks he is.
I'm sure Rocksteady's appreciative. He's like, man, you're making all the difference.
At some point, the foot soldiers are like, look, we'll try everything at this point.
That's that kind of go-getter attitude you need to rise up the ranks of the Foot Clan. This has scenes that are locked to that side-scrolling plane, and then you also have this sort of isometric viewpoint as well, where you can move up and down in various scenes. And so Bebop takes advantage of that by firing bullets across all the different planes, moving up and down diagonally. It makes this a much more difficult and dynamic fight than the Rocksteady one.
Was that a TMNT building? Did they purchase land?
Yeah, I don't think we're supposed to ask that. So now we're in Key West, Florida for the opening of Ninja Turtles 3, the Manhattan Project for the 8-bit. And in fact, Rocksteady doesn't have his machine gun. He's got a spearfishing gun. And he jumped out of the water, which kind of makes me think we interrupted his private time.
Yeah, I feel like he's just out here vacationing, and trying to have a good time. And he's still got that diagonal blast, so ready to punish any jump kicks still.
Maybe he was hanging out with Ray Fillet.
That's a deep cut.
And I love this whole scene here too, where Bebop just drives by, just sort of flinging out the grenades.
Yeah, man. Like the idea, how can he pull the pin on those so fast? I'm impressed.
He's very talented.
He pre-pulled them. It's very dangerous.
Yeah, you'll notice once it starts going into TMNT 3 here, like the both Rocksteady and Bebop are starting to dress for the occasion.
Yeah.
Like with a harpoon
What occasion
gun.
is this exactly?
This is a wrecked bridge, so he's wearing like a wrecking ball over his head.
That's incredible. Like just the fact that he's got to get it swinging first, and the neck muscles on this beast is just impressive.
It's really just an 8-bit masterpiece. It's got so much packed into it, so many cool boss fights. Now we move on to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4, Turtles in Time, for the 16-bit. And Shredder sends the Ninja Turtles back in time as a punishment. Then apparently he also sends Rocksteady and Bebop back in time because they show up on this pirate ship. And I think the funny thing here is that there's clearly... you can clearly tell what the ranks are here because, like Rocksteady, he's the captain. He's very dressed in finery. He's fighting with this elegant fencing style, and then Bebop has clearly been swabbing the decks. He's the cabin boy in this situation.
I also love the interaction of the whip getting tangled around the rapier. There is something I don't think I remember.
And the reaction of the sword getting bent when he gets hit. I mean, there's so much just gorgeous animation in this. And again, this is another game in which we're going to have these design documents you're going to be able to look at and see the original pencil sketches of a lot of these frames of animation and kind of understand what the process was to getting this on the screen.
Oh, right. Then they just take each other out.
Oh, it's so funny. It's so clever.
This is the one I'm maybe the least familiar with.
This is probably the one I'm most familiar with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know this fight well, and having to dodge Rocksteady's charge is... I guess it's a unique comparison to him busting out the machine gun in the previous boss battles.
Yeah, it's interesting. In this boss battle, he kind of runs back and forth between the sides of the screen, and there's sort of a little bit more of a pattern that you can kind of memorize. And so this is Hyperstone High School. And you bring up an interesting point. Not everybody had all 13 of these games as a kid. In fact, most people just had, maybe 1 or 2 because they only had 1 or 2 platforms. This is your chance to experience the games you didn't get to play as a kid. We're back looking at the arcade version of Turtles in Time. Yeah, just to wrap things up, I guess.
Yeah, and thanks guys so much for joining us. So the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Cowabunga Collection, is going to be out later this year on PS4 and PS5. Charles, Chris, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.